In this video, I want to help you not get scammed by a taxi driver when you first arrive in Peru. This is a PSA because I don't think I've seen a YouTube video discuss this, and numerous people have fallen for the same scam, including myself, when first arriving in Peru, just not knowing. Now, some people I know have been smarter because they've been to other countries and they've experienced similar things, and they were able to avoid it, but they were still disgruntled about this. So essentially what happens is when you arrive at the airport and then you get your baggage claim and whatnot, you want to either get the taxis within the airport or get an Uber. The Uber is always going to be the cheapest option and the best, and it's the same quality of service. But what you want to avoid are the hordes of taxi drivers waiting outside the airport. So there is a rental place where you could rent cars or buy taxis. It's like this in every country where you can do this within the airport. But then once you exit, and there'll be exit signs, so it's going to be very clear. Once you exit the airport and you go outside, that is when there's going to be hordes of taxi drivers trying to sell you on a taxi. Now, the issue with these taxi drivers is they are way overpriced. They will offer prices that are 3 times above the norm, maybe 3.5 times. So just to give you an example, what happened to me, first time I arrived, had no idea. I got into a taxi. I paid, he quoted something like 80 sol, and I said, okay, fine. 80 sol is, it's a 3.8 to 1 difference with the US dollar. So it's, that was roughly like a $23 ride. And it seemed fair because I had to drive like 40 minutes to my hotel from the airport, right? So I get in, and then he scams you even further by kind of mentioning upsells that are obligatory. So 30 seconds in, as we're leaving the airport parking lot, he points to the sign and says, that's an exit fee. You have to pay that as well. And then he presses a button and it exits the car, which is funny because guess what? When the Uber driver took me out, he didn't mention no exit fee. He didn't charge me for that. The Uber, by the way, I paid about 25, 30, so like a fraction of the price. So, okay, there's another like 10 sol for the exit fee. And then once I get to the hotel I'm staying at, he asked me for should I add a tip to the fee? And I said, I don't know any better. I figured, well, it's a good service. Maybe tips are expected in this country. So then he's like, how much do you want to add a tip on? 10, 20 sol? And so I give him the bigger option to be nice, 20 sol. And I ended up paying something like 130 sol, 110 sol. Multiple other people I've ran into, probably every US citizen, I wouldn't be surprised, falls for the scam, but I've ran into multiple people, like 2 or 3, and they're always disgruntled about this. They're unhappy about this. They all fall for the same thing. And some of them even get into the little fights, but then they end up having to pay the taxi driver anyways. Compare that 130 sol to 30 sol that you're going to be paying for a Uber. So the Uber is the cheapest option. I looked at the taxi prices within the airport. They're still going to not be as expensive as the scam. You probably run somewhere between 60 to 80 sol, but let me tell you, I have ridden Ubers probably over 50 times in Peru already, and I've never had a problem. I've always given them a 5-star. They've probably given me 5 stars. It's been incredible. It's been super affordable. Generally, I can get around anywhere for like $5 US or less, sometimes $2 or $3 within the city of Lima. And it's similar in Cusco. The exception is like airport to hotel. That's like a 45-minute drive if you're living in Miraflores. But just be careful of the scam. I don't see any other YouTube videos about this. It just sucks that this happens. And it really does. And there's hordes of taxi drivers doing this, and they don't have any solace or kindness. They're just trying to make money. Yeah, I've even had the local Peruvians leave a comment on my video saying how this is not a good thing and they're ashamed of it, or disappointed. But it's a huge thing. There's hordes of them. And then, funny enough, I learned my lesson. So when I flew back into Lima from Cusco, I just walked out of the airport, walked out of baggage claim, didn't even, I ignored the hordes of taxi drivers. They left me alone after 30 seconds of walking past them. And I'd already called my Uber, picked me up. It was a fraction of the price. It was like a third of the price that these cab drivers would have scammed me for. So be careful, stay safe.